Hi. Sorry. Good afternoon, everyone. This is SAHOO, and you are watching SAHOO's tutorial. Welcome once again to another new video. Do join quickly. Okay, this is day 3, KSET 2023 marathon session. Do join quickly and answer the questions. Sorry, in the comment box. Sorry. Okay, so this is the day 3 session. Do join quickly. This is SAHOO, and you are watching SAHOO's tutorial. Let's begin the session without wasting your time. So here is your first question on your screen. Who is the author of the book The Subculture, the Meaning of the Style? Subculture, the Meaning of Style is a work by whom? And it is actually depicting the youth culture after the post-war. Okay, I think everything is okay. Yeah. So Subculture and the Meaning of Style is a work by Karl Marx, Max Weber, D. Hebdage, Michel Foucault. So this is a work that is talking about the youth culture. Okay. So here this is a work by D. Hebdage. C is the right answer. You see, Subculture, the Meaning of Style is a 1979 book by D. Hebdage, focusing on Britain's post-war youth subculture styles and symbolic forms of resistance. Got it? Chalo. Phoneme. Phoneme means the dash unit in the sound system of a language. What is phoneme? Stressed unit, smallest unit, longest unit, most prominent unit. What is phoneme here? Phone. So that is actually related to sound system. So that is phoneme means here the smallest unit in the sound system of a language. That is here B is the right answer. Here you see the phoneme. It was Daniel Jones, the first linguist, became the first linguist in the Western world to use the term phoneme in its current sense, employing the word in his article called The Phonetic Structure of Sequana Language. The phonetic structure of Sequana language by Daniel Jones. So he was the first linguist to use the term in its current sense. Max Muller, a German philologist. Max Muller, a German philologist, is associated with wow theory, bow wow theory, gesture theory, ding dong theory, po theory. Max Muller. Max Muller is associated with, actually what he is coining? He is coining the term. It's a derogatory term. He was criticizing the theory. He is discrediting. So this theory is actually wow theory. That is Max Muller, German philologist, is associated with wow theory. Now we will discuss what is wow theory. So wow theory is a theory by a various scholars called Jean Jacques. Then you have Herder, John Gottfried Herder, on the speculative origins of human language. So they have given the theory on the origins of human language, and they were giving emphasis on that language developed from onomatopoeia. Language developed from onomatopoeia. Who are believing? The wow theorists like Jean Jacques and John Gottfried Herder. They believe that the first human language developed from onomatopoeia, that is the imitation of natural sound. The term bow wow theory was introduced in English language literature by German philologist Max Muller, who was critical of this idea. He was actually criticizing, discrediting. Bow wow theories have been widely discredited as an example explanation for the origin of language. So here this one is the right answer. Max Muller is the right answer. The phrase fair is foul is associated with the alchemist Macbeth, the malcontent, the broken heart. Fair is foul, the phrase one is associated with Macbeth that appears in the first scene of Macbeth. Fair is foul and foul is fair is a particular well-known Shakespeare quote appeared in the first scene of Macbeth. Here, the three witches said by the three witches. Helen appears in Dr. Foster's The Spanish Tragedy, Women Beware Women, the Duchess of Malfi. So Helen appears in Dr. Foster's. Whereas the Spanish Tragedy is a work by Thomas Kidd. It's a work by Thomas Kidd having the subtitle Hieronymo is Mad Again. इसका subtitle क्या था? Hieronymo is Mad Again. Okay, this is the subtitle of this work, The Spanish Tragedy by Thomas Kidd. Whereas Women Beware Women is a work by Middleton. It's a work by Thomas Middleton. I think this is by Middleton, whereas Duchess of Malfi by John Webster. The Spanish Tragedy having the subtitle Hieronymo is Mad Again. It's an Elizabethan tragedy. It's a revenge tragedy. Okay. So Women Beware Women is a work by Thomas Middleton published in 1657. Whereas Women Beware Women tells the story of Bianca, a woman who escapes from a rich home to elope with the poor lentil. Whereas Duchess of Malfi, here you see, is a work, the revenge tragedy by the Jacobean dramatist John Webster, and the play is set in the court of Malfi, that is Amalfi, Italy, from 1504 to 1510. It's about the widowed duchess who falls in love with Antonio, a lowly steward, and his brothers were Ferdinand and Cardinal. They forbid her from remarrying to Antonio, but she married her below to her status. Even the spy was Bosola, suspicious of her. The brothers had sent Bosola to spy on her. So Bosola is also a character in Duchess of Malfi. Here the Ferdinand is a character. It's not about that story from that is recently I talked about. Just now I talked about, that is your the Duchess of Malfi. Here the Ferdinand is a character in the Tempest, the White Devil, a woman killed with kindness, a new way to pay old debts. Ferdinand is a character from, tell me. So okay, you answer in the comment box and let me describe the other comments, other options actually. A new Women Killed with Kindness is a work by Women Killed with Kindness, a work by John Haywood. It's a work by John Haywood. Whereas A New Way to Pay Old Debts by Philip Messenger, I think it's by Philip Messenger. So the Ferdinand is a character in the Tempest actually. Okay, Tempest, the prince. Whereas the White Devil is Vittoria is a character. Okay, by John Webster. Who is the White Devil titular? It's Vittoria is the. Ferdinand is the son of the King of Naples. Okay, during the storm he is separated from the rest of king's parties. Once assured, he meets Miranda and falls in love with her. So this Ferdinand is a character from Tempest. Whereas A Woman Killed with Kindness is a work by Thomas Haywood. Got it? Now, another important work, A New Way to Pay Old Debts, is a work by the Renaissance man Philip Messenger. Who is the protagonist? A New Way to Pay Old Debts. Here is Giles Overreach. Giles Overreach is the protagonist of this work called, that is A New Way to Pay Old Debts by Philip Messenger. An essay on dramatic poetry was first published in the year 1582 1668, 1821 1764. An essay of dramatic poetry was first published in 1668. That's first published in 1668. So it's about dialogue. The interlocutors, there were total 4 interlocutors. First one is Crites, who begins the conversation, then Eugenius, then Lycidius, then Neander. Okay, there are 4 interlocutors: Dialogues, Eugenius, Lycidius, and Neander. So it first published in 1668. So they were, Crites and Eugenius was talking about, they were each against the ancient versus modern, Crites and Eugenius, whereas Lycidius and Neander, they were against, they talking about, their debate was against, one was against French. So it was French versus English. Here you see John Dryden's Essay of Dramatic Poetry published in 1668 during the Great Plague of London, and Great Plague came in 1666. Okay, Great Plague came in no, sorry, during the Great Plague of India. Plague came in 1665. Fire came in 1666 actually. Chalo. So PF ना, हाँ PF, that is 1665. प्लेग आया था 1665 पे और फायर आया था 1660, ग्रेट फायर ऑफ लंदन. जो भी है, द treatise is a dialogue among the 4 speakers, Eugenius, Crites, Lycidius, and Neander. Who are the 4 speakers? Sir Robert Howard is known as Crites, Charles Sackville, then the Lord Bathurst, Eugenius, Sir Charles Sedley, Lycidius, and Dryden himself, Neander, who means the new man and implies that Dryden as a respected member of the gentry class as well. The 4 men debate a series of 3 topics. The relative merit classical drama upheld by Crites, the ancient drama. Crites was upholding ancient drama, who begins the conversation, and here the Eugenius, who is actually trying to champion modern drama, whereas Lycidius maintains is better than English drama, supported by Neander, French drama. Whereas Lycidius was talking about French drama, praising French drama, and Neander is defending the English drama. Chalo. Even here you see Neander, that is Dryden, in this work famously calls Shakespeare as the greatest soul, ancient or modern. Which of the following works by Milton is an elegy? Samson Agonistes, Lycidas, Paradise Regent, Il Penseroso. So easy one, that is an elegy on the death of Milton's friend Edward King. And this is actually Lycidas, a pastoral elegy. It's a pastoral elegy. Whereas you should also know that Paradise Regent and Samson Agonistes, these 2 poems, Samson Agonistes and Paradise Regent, these 2 poems were published in the year 1671. Okay, Paradise Regent or Samson Agonistes published in 1671, whereas Samson Agonistes actually, you know that he had the power in his hair. He had the power in his hair. So whereas Il Penseroso and Il Allegro is actually or are the companion poems. Il Allegro and Il Penseroso, they are the companion poems. Penseroso means melancholy, whereas Allegro means actually happy man. So here you see El Allegro is a pastoral poem by John Milton, published in 1645 poems. El Allegro means, which means the happy man, whereas Il Penseroso means melancholy man. These are actually companion poem. Whereas Samson Agonistes published in 1671 along with Paradise Regent, and he had the power in his hair. Samson Agonistes. Chalo. Which of the following works was written by Bacon? The Anatomy of Melancholy, you know, by Robert Barton. The Advancement of Learning, Utopia, you all know. The Book of the Courtier is a it's from world literature actually. The Anatomy of Melancholy by Robert Barton. The Advancement of Learning is a work by Bacon, whereas Utopia by Thomas More's Utopia, you know, first published in 1516 in Latin. Then English translation came in 1551 by Ralph Robinson. Okay, by Ralph Robinson. The Book of the Courtier is also a work by this, that is Catiglo. Chalo. So here B is the right answer. The Yahoo features in The Marriage of Heaven and Hell by William Blake, no? Gulliver Travels, Journal of the Plague Year, Vicar of Wakefield, where Primrose is the main protagonist. In Vicar of Wakefield, we have Primrose, okay, is the main protagonist. Journal of the Plague Year, Stella, that is by Fielding, whereas Yahoo featured in Gulliver Travels. Book of the Courtier that I talked about, that Book of the Courtier that I talked about, that is a work by this author called Castiglione, okay, where the Advance of Learning by Bacon is a 1605 work. The Vanity of Human Wishes is a work by Thackeray, Fielding, Goldsmith. It's a work by Samuel Johnson. Imitating Juvenal, 10 satire, okay, imitating even Juvenal's 10 satire. So it was begun and completed while Johnson was busy writing a dictionary of the English language that came in 1755. As the subtitle suggests, it is an imitation of satire. It is an imitation of satire 10 by the Latin poet Juvenal. Imitation of satire 10 by Latin poet Juvenal. The Vanity of Human Wishes, 10 satire of Juvenal imitated, is a poem by English author Samuel Johnson, published in the year 1749, and in 1755 came the first English dictionary written by Samuel Johnson, came 1755. Pope's satire and epistles are imitation of Horace, Virgil, Homer, Juvenal. So Pope's satire and epistle, I think it's from Horace. Chalo. Next question. Which of the following works is not by Jane Austen? Okay. Sense and Sensibility, that came in 1811. This is the first debut novel of Jane Austen. Northanger Abbey, published in 1818 or 1819 something, along with Persuasion. Northanger Abbey and Persuasion, they okay, published the same year. Northanger Abbey and Persuasion posthumously, whereas Emma is also a work by Jane Austen. Rebecca is not a work by Jane Austen, so here C is the right answer. Okay, Sense and Sensibility came in 1811. In 1813 came another novel, that is Pride and Prejudice. So first novel is Sense and Sensibility, second novel is Pride and Prejudice. First impression is the title. So Emma is also, okay, she loves the most, okay, when she created Jane Austen. When Jane Austen created this character Emma, she told that she loves the character Emma most. Okay, so here the right answer is actually Rebecca, which is not a work by Jane Austen. The Rebecca is a work by Joachim de Maurier. Okay, Rebecca is a 1938 Gothic novel by the English author called Daphne du Maurier. Daphne du Maurier is a author of Rebecca, which is a Gothic novel. And here the opening line, you see, the novel is remembered for the character called Mrs. Danvers. Okay, remember that this character Mrs. Danvers appears in Rebecca, which is a Daphne du Maurier's Gothic novel. And the famous opening line of this novel is, "Last night I dreamed I went to Manderley again." This is the famous opening line of this Gothic novel called Rebecca. "Last night I dreamed I went to Manderley again." This is the famous opening line where the characters Mrs. Danvers appear. Chalo. Next question. Which of the following is an autobiographical poem by The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, The Eve of Saint Agnes, The Prelude, Don Juan? Okay, which of the following is an autobiographical poem? So you all know that Rime of the Ancient Mariner is the first poem that appeared in lyrical ballads. Okay, Rime of the Ancient Mariner has the 7 part in total. So this poem appeared for the first time in lyrical. It was the first poem in that lyrical ballads. Okay, so Eve of Saint Agnes by John Keats. Prelude is a work, a growth of poet's mind. So the published 1850 posthumously, written in blank verse. Yeah, exactly. So Prelude is autobiographical poem. Here the Prelude, or the growth of a poet's mind, an autobiographical poem, published actually after his death, 1850. What's the date in 1850? And it is written in blank verse. It's a philosophical work. Next question. The biblical character that figures in Keats' Ode to Nightingale. Ode to Nightingale figures in Ahab, Susanna, Ruth, Mary Magdalene. So in the poem called Ode to Nightingale by Keats, there is a reference of allegorical character. So here it's actually Ruth. Okay, Ruth is being referred here, the biblical character in Ode to Nightingale by John Keats. So here C is the right answer. Moving on to next question. Far from the madding crowd. Far from the madding crowd. Madding means frenzy. Madding means frenzied crowd. Okay, it's taken from Pope's Rev of the Log, published in 1712, 1417. Rev of the Log, you know, for the first time it published in 1712. Second time it came in 1714. Third time it came in 1717. Isn't it? So, Pope's Rev of the Log is a mock heroic poem. Gaze, elegy written in the country churchyard, Dryden's religiosity, and William Cowper's The Task. Here the title has been taken from Thomas Gray's work, The Graveyard Poet. You know, the Gray is known as the graveyard poet. Graveyard poet, one of the graveyard poet, Thomas Gray. Here, elegy written in a country churchyard. And Far from the Madding Crowd by Hardy, who is the protagonist here, Gabriel Oak. Gabriel. Okay, Gabriel Oak is the protagonist of this novel, Gabriel Oak. Okay, Far from the Madding Crowd. And he falls in love with Bathsheba. He falls in love with Bathsheba. Okay, remember that. So here is the explanation that the title from Far from the Madding Crowd comes from Thomas Gray's famous 18th century poem Elegy, written in a country churchyard. Got it? Far from the madding crowd is an ignoble strife. The sober wishes never learn to stray. Gabriel Oak is actually a young shepherd who falls in love with Bathsheba, a virgin, a proud beauty who arrives to live with her aunt. So this is has been taken from the work. Which of the following works is not by Gerard Manley Hopkins? The Dynast, God's Granger, Pied Beauty, Felix Randall. So here B, C, D, these are all works by Hopkins, whereas Dynast is a work by that is Hardy. It's a work by Hardy. Okay, Hardy, it's a closure drama. What is closure drama? Closure drama is meant for reading. It is not meant for staged. That is here the Dynast is actually that work which is not by Gerard Manley Hopkins, which is a closure drama, not to be performed on stage, but to be read only. That is the closure drama. So A is the right answer. Here the Dynast is actually a closure drama by Thomas Hardy. Here Hardy himself described the work as an epic drama of war with Napoleon. It has total 3 parts, 19 acts and 130 scenes. Got it? Chalo. Next question. Which chapter of Biographia Literaria introduces the critical concept of willing suspension of disbelief? Now, you have to know the concept of willing suspension of disbelief. That means you have to willingly disbelieve the implausible things, and when you are able to willingly disbelieve or accept the implausible things, okay, then you will be able to enjoy the poetic pleasure. Then you will be able to get the pleasure of a text. That is willing suspension of disbelief. You have to accept the implausible things, the truth. Okay. So in Coleridge's Biographia Literaria, this coining of this phrase called willing suspension of disbelief appeared in chapter 7, chapter 10, chapter 8, chapter 14. So this willing suspension of disbelief, coining of this phrase appeared in chapter 14. Chapter 14 is the right answer. So C is the right answer. And what is, I'll be discussing here, what does the concept of willing suspension of disbelief? That is accepting fictional elements without questioning, rejecting imaginative ideas, analyzing poetry critically, or avoiding emotional engagement with literature. No, you have to accept willingly the fictional elements without questioning. Then you will be able to enjoy that literary piece. Then you will be able to enjoy, get the poetic pleasure, okay, of the literary piece. So A is the right answer. So, who is not a Daimok poet? Daimok is actually name of village, and the poets used to live there surrounding that village. So who is not a Daimok poet? Robert Frost, Lascelles Abercrombie, Rupert Brooke, William Butler Yeats, and Edward Thomas. Who is not a Daimok poet? Daimok poet, इनमें से कौन Daimok poet नहीं है? That is actually William Butler Yeats. William Butler Yeats is not a Daimok poet. The Daimok poets are generally held to have comprised Robert Frost, there is Lascelles Abercrombie, Rupert Brooke, Edward Thomas, Wilfred Wilson Gibson, and John Drinkwater. They were known as Daimok poets, and they were lived near the village in the period of 1911 to 1914. even during the Georgian poetry. So here the group published their own quarterly called New Numbers, containing poems, famous poems like Rupert Brooks, The Soldier. Okay, Rupert Brooks, The Soldier. So this is about the dime of poets. Michael Henchard, EG1, is a character in Richardson's Clarissa, Fanny Burney's Evelina, Hardy's The Mayor of Casterbridge, George Eliot's Middlemarch. So Hardy's Mayor of Casterbridge is the right answer, Michael Henchard. And George Eliot's Middlemarch, having the subtitle A Study of Provincial Life. What is the subtitle of George Eliot's Middlemarch? A Study of Provincial Life. A Study of Provincial Life. Chalo. Audens, W.H. Audens, Musi the Works Arts contains a reference to the legend of Hercules, Icarus, Atlas, Oedipus. So here the painting of Peter Bruegel, there is a reference of painting of Peter Bruegel. So here Icarus is actually referred. The legend of Icarus is being referred here. Who will fall in that sea? So that his wings were made of wax. When he had the wax wings, so he was flying very high. Okay, due to the heat of the sun, the wax melted and he was falling from that sky into that sea. So there is a painting of Peter Bruegel even in that poem. The name mentioned in that poem by Audens, Musi the Works Arts. So Icarus is the right answer here. He was over ambitious. He was too ambitious. That's why he had a fall. So the best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity, occurs in a poem called Ezra Pound, William Butler Yeats, W.H. Auden, T.S. Eliot. And the best lack all, he's talking about the politics actually. Talking about the politics here. So here it is appeared, this line appeared in William Butler Yeats, The Second Coming. The Second Coming. And you know the Second Coming, the title. Okay, the title. This Second Coming title was popular. Why? Because Chinua Achebe, Things Fall Apart, has taken Chinua Achebe for his work called Things Fall Apart. He has taken the title from the Second Coming. So here William Butler reads The Second Coming, where we find the best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. Little Gidding forms a part of the Prelude. Prelude is a work by, that published in 1850, autobiographical work by Wordsworth. Then Don Juan, 4 quartets, Caliban upon Syllabus. So Little Gidding is a part of 4 quartets, where we have East Cooker, we have Burnt Norton, we have Dry Salvages, whereas even we have Little Gidding. These are the part of 4 quartets by T.S. Eliot. Whereas Caliban upon Syllabus is a work by this author called, here you see, that's by British poet Robert Browning. Okay, so let's discover here 4 quartets, a set of poems by T.S. Eliot. East Cooker, the Dry Salvages, Little Gidding are the part of that 4 quartets. And even here this one was the Little Gidding. And even Burnt Norton is not given here. Burnt Norton. Okay. Here it is given, Burnt Norton. Okay. Published in the year 1936, collection of poems after a few years. Chalo. And here Caliban upon Syllabus is a poem by this dramatic monologue writer, the master of dramatic monologue, Robert Browning. It deals with Caliban, and Caliban is a character from Shakespeare's Tempest, and his mother is Sycorax, isn't it? Sure. Okay, we'll be ending the session here. I've discussed, I think 74 or 75 questions like that. Okay, in the evening session I'll be continuing with this. Okay, we have no more question actually left. Thank you everyone. Do like the session. Share with your friends as well. We'll be meeting soon in the evening session as well. Thank you. Please do like the session, share with your friends, and make sure to subscribe the channel.